What is going on, guys? DBG here, and in this video we are going to be talking about something that I think gets way too much hate for what it is. And not only that, I believe that not only is this something that is a positive, but it is something that I personally believe is the best thing that has happened to my team since the introduction of Triple Threat, maybe? Like, it is the best game mode in my opinion in this game. And I'm going to tell you guys why. And also why, well, there are arguments for it being bad, but I don't agree with them. And I'm going to tell you guys why. So, the mode is MyTeam Limited. MyTeam Limited. As you guys see, there are restrictions to the mode, which means that you must have 10 players, like this week, 10 players from the 21 current team, 1 diamond card, no opal, pink diamond, free agent, or heat check cards allowed. Last week, it was that you could only use heat check players, you could use 1 diamond or above, and then sapphires are lower. The week before, I think it was sapphires are lower, and I can't remember what the other card, and then with 1 ruby, 1 amethyst. So, it basically means that there are certain it basically just means that there are restrictions on a game mode. So, let me first explain why some people don't like the mode. The ring RNG isn't even a reason. Some people think that the rings are a bit too easy to get, and that's an understandable one. But there is kind of a happy medium, which I don't quite think 2K have hit, because right now it takes somewhere between, sometimes you can get it in 1 game, sometimes it might take 8 or 9 games. I think the most since week 3 or 4 that I've had it is be like 9 games, which is fine. I'm fine playing 9 games in a weekend. It's just week 1 was grim because it was taking some people 40 games. It took me 34 games to get a ring. 34 games it took me to get a ring on week 1. Like, it was grim. It was absolutely grim. But what people are arguing is that it's not competitive enough and it's not rewarding enough. And in terms of rewards, like, you get good packs. Like, you might get 3-4 tokens a game. You might get 1,000 MT. Is it the most rewarding mode? No. Most rewarding mode? No. But you get good packs. Like, I got a draft deluxe pack from playing it yesterday. Like, draft deluxe packs, yeah, they're a bit outdated, but like the 17k double take deluxe pack was there as well. Like, that's a potential. Like, in a double take deluxe pack, you've got potential to get 20 KMT. Oh my god, these guys tanked in price. They really tanked in price. But you have the potential basically to get one of D Rose or Dwight Howard, which would be a nice card to get. And then there are some other decent rewards. But yeah, I get it. The rewards could be a little bit better for the game, especially because the rewards are nowhere near as good as like TT Online or Domination. But at the exact same time, this game mode is not a competitive mode. And that's the big thing. Like, I think the reason why this has got such a negative perception in the community is that people thought this was going to be Weekend League. Like, people thought it was going to be like Weekend League in FIFA. And my personal opinion is that I'm delighted that it isn't. As somebody that has played FIFA and has seen the way the FIFA community has gone, the FIFA community has gone to the stage where basically the whole game mode of Ultimate Team has been decided by the meta, the competitiveness of the game. And if a card isn't a meta card, they're worthless. And that's actually the way my team had been until this year. However, Limited has literally meant that the meta changes every week. That is the best thing about it. Like, for example, cards yesterday. Let's have a look at the Inferno cards. Everyone got so excited about these cheap cards. People even got excited about Festus Ezeli. Like, if you're looking at Festus Ezeli, a 6'11" center, can he do anything except catch lobs? No. Can barely shoot a mid, catches lobs quite well, blocks shots, and is mobile. Why were people so excited about him? Because he's a Sapphire center who can be used in Limited and is mobile. And people were really excited about this card. They were excited about, well, people weren't really excited, but some people were like, you know what, he's a usable card. Everyone got so excited about Ronnie Brewer. Ronnie Brewer Evo's Ruby, Evo Sapphire to Amethyst. Guys like myself bought a spare Ronnie Brewer. I have a spare Ronnie Brewer and a spare Jar Jack. Do you want to know the reason why I have these guys spare? I don't plan on selling them. It's because these are Evo cards. And eventually I want to Evo up Jar Jack and I want to Evo up Ronnie Brewer. I'm going to buy a Ruby Ronnie Brewer as well. So depending on the week for Limited, it means that you're going to need certain Evos of certain cards. Like, if we're in a week in Limited where you need a bunch of Ruby cards, you can use Ruby or lower. Obviously, I'll need this. I really want to use Jar Jack. I'm not going to be using the Amethyst Jar Jack because I can't. Then also, if you need Sapphires or lower, I got to keep a Sapphire running Brew there because he's the best Sapphire card in the game. But also, I got to keep a Ruby one because he'll be in my Ruby and lower squad. And, like, again, it means that there's so many guys, there's no point not buying them. There's no point not buying the budget guys, not trying out the budget guys. Like, for example, Mike Miller. There's absolutely no point not buying a Mike Miller. The guy's, what is he, he discards for 800 MT, I'm pretty sure. Maybe a little bit higher. There's actually no reason not to buy. He's 150k MT even if you discard him. There's no reason not to buy a Mike Miller card. Because, again, he's one of the elite rubies in the game. And he's could be a very, very nice card for limited. And it changes the whole aspect of how people build teams. Like, for example, if it wasn't for limited, I wouldn't have figured out how cash Chris Middleton was. Because I only used the pink diamond a couple of times. From using this guy in limited, I've realized that even with an 83 ball, the guy is straight cash. And I'm not talking about current gen because that game is broken beyond repair. I can only speak from my own experience. Sometimes using these lower players is really tough in current gen. And that's not a problem with the game mode. By any means. That is because current gen is broken beyond repair. And unless you have full badges and hot zones, you could have a 99 3-point rating and miss every single shot. But if you've got full badges and you've got full hot zones, you could have a 60 rated 3 and hit consistently. It is the most broken video game I've ever played, current gen. So, apologies. Like, if your attitude is you hate using the lower rated players because nobody can score, and you were on current gen, you know what? That's a fair argument. That is the only argument I think against this mode. But that's a gameplay problem. That's not a game mode problem. That's a problem with the actual gameplay. But for me, again, my favorite thing about MyTeam, and I think a big reason why I've been able to build kind of the following that I have, and because I think there's a lot more people that have the attitude that I have. My favorite thing about my team is finding hidden gems. My favorite team is constantly looking for players, constantly trying to make creative teams. My favorite time of the year is when it's like squad builder time at the end of the year. Like, there are going to be weeks in limited where you need a bunch of emerald cards later on in the year. So you know what? Maybe you haven't used your Trey Burke card all year. Maybe you haven't used Trey Burke, but you have to, for example, use a limited Trey Burke, or an emerald Trey Burke, or an emerald point guard. And you're thinking, okay, I think from what I remember, Trey Burke has a really good release. So you put him into the squad. You end up having to use him in the game. Did I cancel the sub right there? No. You end up having to use him in a game. Realize that he's got one of the best releases in the game. You dropped 30 points with him. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, Trey Burke is actually a demon. Why haven't I heard about this guy beforehand? Why wasn't I, And then when Trey Burke comes out later in the year, maybe you want to use that card. Maybe it'll become to a stage where Trey Burke Diamond comes out, and later on in the year, limited is diamonds and lower. So you're thinking, you know what? I had a good time using Trey Burke as an emerald. Maybe I'll like him as a diamond. It just leads to people using a whole bunch of different cards. And that's my favorite thing about the game. One of my least favorite things about current gen last year. One of my least favorite things, well, not even just current gen last year, it was 2K20, was the fact that if you didn't have the meta squad, you were screwed. Like, for example, this year, if your team does not consist, like next gen is a completely different game mode. If your team does not consist of a point guard with range extender, clamps, and can dunk, if you've got one player without range extender on your entire team, you're probably gonna lose on current gen. If you have a player with a bad release, like you would lose a game by just running Hito. By just running Hito in your squad, you would lose a game. Hito's one of my favorite players to use in this game. I can actually use him and have fun on next gen. So that's one thing I do like about this. But one of my least favorite things about 20 was the fact that if you strayed from the meta, like if you had a player you really, really liked and they weren't a meta card, you couldn't use them. You could not use the card. Cards became outdated so quickly. And also, this keeps cards dated longer. Like, for example, Jeff Green. Why would anyone in their right mind use Jeff Green anymore? Unless they're playing limited. And the guy is a beast in limited. So the guy came out in October. There are so many guys that came out in these early packs that are usable in limited. Like, you're still seeing people use Maurice Cheeks from day one because of that limited game mode. You're still seeing people, in terms of current NBA, running with Trae Young. I use Trae Young most weeks in Limited. Is he a good player for Limited? Yeah. As far as Sapphire point cards go, yeah, he's good. But like as far as an actual card like that you're going to be seeing people using in a competitive setting, hell no. Hell no. So if you're a massive Atlanta Hawks fan, if you're a massive Trae Young fan, there's been weeks where you can use them. There's been weeks where you can use a Trae Young card and get away with it. Because if you enter this mode right here with a Trae Young player, you are going to lose. You will lose if you enter this mode here with a Trae Young or something like that. So that's just my opinion on it. If I was playing this, if I was looking to play 250k, first of all, I wouldn't have touched next gen as of right now. If I was looking to play this game at an ultra high competitive level, I would have a completely different opinion, and I get that. And if you are one of the like top players in the world, and you really want to compete, and the only reason you play this game is for rewards, which is the way FIFA's gone, which is one thing that I don't like, and I think it's just gotten more of a negative perception of the mode because people only care about the rewards. Like, for example, Kawhi Leonard. Like, yeah, people grind XP. There's people that are like, oh yeah, there's no point even going for Kawhi Leonard anymore. Just because he's not the single best card in the game. And like, even for things like Ascension. Like, this is a good idea and stuff, but people will only like play to certain things because of the rewards. And that's one of the things I don't like about the way my team is going. It's going down the FIFA route. It's going down the route of people only caring about getting rewarded for playing the game. And I'll be the first to admit it. That was my attitude a year ago. My attitude would have been, I didn't care about actually playing the game. All I cared about is being rewarded because I hated the game. Like, if I'm not enjoying playing the game, then I'm not going to play it for fun. The only thing I'm going to care about is what free stuff I can get from playing the game, because it's the only thing that's going to keep me playing. However, with the MyTeam Limited game mode, sometimes when I get a ring, I'm a little bit disappointed because I'm like, oh, I think, is that me done? Is that the last I can play at a game? Am I finished? Because I actually really like using these cheap players. Did I like it on current gen? Was I just playing for the ring? Yeah. Maybe it's a different attitude because I actually like playing the game. Like, that's probably it. That's probably it. It's probably why my attitude towards this game mode has changed so much. Because I actually like playing the game. I like using different cards. And I actually like this game. Like, I fully understand if you don't like the game and you just want to be rewarded. Because if you don't enjoy the game, for a lot of people, rewards are the only thing that's keeping people playing. Which was me, literally, until next gen came out. I only played current gen for the rewards. I only played 2K20 when I was going for the rewards. When I wasn't going for the rewards, I didn't play the game. I didn't play Unlimited once I got the 12-0 reward. I did not play the game because I wanted to have fun playing the game. Whereas, maybe it's just a completely different mentality for me because I really like this game. And I really, really like this game mode. For me, it just puts so much more value in every card. Every card in the game has value now. So they come out with a new set. Let's just say Moment set, or let's say Inferno. And in previous years, someone like a Mike Miller would be seen as a worthless card. Now everyone pretty much gonna have a Mike Miller in their collection because they're waiting for him to be useful and limited. Guys like Ronnie Brewer, who nobody in January of any year would care about a Sapphire card, but this year is different. And this year is different because of this mode right here. And I understand the general perception of this mode is negative, but I'm only speaking from my own experience. I'm giving my own opinion, and there are people that are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. There are people in this comment section that are going to disagree with me, that's fine. This is just my opinion, and I'm just putting it out there because the general consensus of this mode is so negative amongst, I'm not even going to say amongst the community, because anytime I talk about it, the general consensus of this mode is a positive one. The general consensus amongst like content creators is, I want to use my God Squad, or this game mode's not competitive enough, or we don't get enough rewards. But for me, I only care about having fun in a video game, and you know what? I have every time I have fun with this mode. Whether it's figuring out a good team to make, learning different strategies, playing different styles every week, finding the best players to fit the style, learning about new players. This mode is just straight up the most fun I have had playing 2K since I was 18 before making YouTube videos playing 2K15. Like, the longer you play the game, 10 hours, or not 10 hours a day, the longer you play this game every day constantly for your job, the more it takes a toll on you. This year, this game, the way the game's played, and especially this mode, has actually made 2K enjoyable for me, which is crazy coming from a person who may have had the most negative perception of the previous two 2K games. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.